Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be going over the conscious, subconscious, and higher consciousness of our mind. All right, so when it comes to the human brain, when it comes to the human mind and consciousness overall, it is pretty interesting to say the least. Even modern scientists of today are still unpacking and still unraveling the mysteries behind the human consciousness. All right, so in this specific video, I'm going to be going over the consciousness of our being, the subconscious of our being, and our higher consciousness or our spirit consciousness, whatever you want to call it. All right, so let's not waste any time, but let's go ahead and get started. So we have the consciousness, which deals with logic, and we have the subconscious, which deals with feelings and emotions. And then we have the higher consciousness, which is left and right harmony. So our goal is to have the left brain and the right brain in harmony with each other at all times. Right? When we just think logically, we tend to be, one-sided, or we deal with things through a, one equation sequence or one resolution or one process ideal. Then when we think subconsciously, we tend to carry on certain traits. We tend to carry on certain dynamics in programs that we have been downloading, whether it be good or bad. But most of the time, when we think subconsciously, we tend to grasp and download and soak up all the negative things that have happened in our lives. So it's important for us to attain higher consciousness to where we're able to have the left and the right brain work in sync, work in harmony. All right. So let's start off with the consciousness or conscious, which deals with logic. All right. So the conscious makes us aware of ourselves and our surroundings via the five senses. So the basic five senses would be, sight, taste, touch, hearing, smelling. So those are the five senses that we have, that we maneuver around, that we use to navigate through our surroundings in our everyday life. So the conscious is the analytical part of our mind, the intellectual thought processes. So when we're doing, let's say we're doing mathematical equations, or we're doing scientific investigations, scientific experiments, or just doing anything analytical, that the conscious deals with the analytical side of our mind, the analytical side of our being, the analytical side of our thought processes. All right. And it can only process one thought at a time. So you ever notice where you are, let's say you are doing something, a certain task, whether it be at work or at home or just anywhere, just anytime in your everyday life, and maybe the first time, or maybe at that moment, you're thinking about something or focusing on something, doing something, and then your boss might come in and, might tell you that you need to work on this other specific assignment, or a coworker might come and distract you, or, a friend might hit you up and call you and tell you, if they want to hang out with you and things like that. Do you ever notice when multiple things start to come into your life, and you just can't concentrate, you can't focus, and you just become discombobulated, and you just need to stay on one specific task, on one specific idea? Well, the conscious, it can only process one thought at a time. So that's why it's always important for you all to focus on one thing at a time. When you are trying to focus on multiple different things, trying to think of different things to do, and having a whole bunch of thoughts and ideas and things of that nature in your mind, you start to, become discombobulated. You can't think straight. So it's always important for you to have one thought process at a time. All right, so now we got the subconscious, which deals with feelings and emotions. All right, so the subconscious records every activity that we are engaged in. So anything that you're doing in your everyday life, hanging out with friends, watching TV, on social media, things of that nature, It records every single activity that you do. It records every single thing that you watch, that you do, what you say, and things like that. Right. So you always got to remember that it records every single activity that you do in your everyday life, every single thing every single thing you partake in, every word that you say. All the programmings and conditions that you have accumulated throughout your everyday life. All right. So the subconscious records what we think about the activities and experiences. So whatever we're doing, whatever activities we're engaged in, the people that we're interacting with, the shows that we watch, videos that we watch, things of that nature, it also records what we think about those situations, what we think about these activities, what we think about these people. All right, so you always have to be mindful of what you consume on a day-to-day basis. You always have to be mindful of what you watch, the people you interact with, the things that you say, because the subconscious records everything that you interact with, all the activities that you engage in, and what you think about these activities and what you think about these people, and so on and so forth. So this includes all of our thoughts, words, and actions. Like I mentioned earlier, it includes our thoughts, words, and actions. So always be mindful of the thoughts that you have, always be mindful of the words that you say, and always be mindful of the actions that you take. All right? So be mindful of all the thoughts that you have in your mind. Be mindful, don't fall into the trap, into the snare of negative thoughts. Pay attention to the words that you say, all right? Because your words are very powerful. Your words cast spells, all right? That's why it's called spelling. So always be mindful of the words that you say, the people that you talk about. Just always, speak positively about yourself. Speak, good messages and affirmations about yourself. Just always be speaking kindness and always be speaking, positivity in your life. And then always be mindful of the actions that you take. Are you doing good works? Are you doing certain things that are aligned with your purpose and your will, and just doing anything that's spreading positivity and love? Always be mindful of the actions that you're taking. All right, don't fall victim. Don't fall into the trap of doing things that could get you in trouble, doing things that could, cause havoc and chaos within your life. Always be mindful of the actions that you're taking at all times. All right. So the subconscious also stores all programs that we downloaded in our present life. So let's say a person who's going through some type of trauma, who has been through childhood trauma, or has went through some type of bullying, or things of that nature. We tend to download and keep in the back of our subconscious mind all the things that we have been going through and all the things that we have seen. We might have grown up in a harsh environment, a rigorous environment, and we have been programmed all these things that we have seen throughout our life, all the the bad things, the good things, has been downloaded in our subconscious mind. All right, so it stores all programs that we download in our present life. So subconscious downloads all the things that we have seen in our present life, that we have endured, that we have experienced in our present life. And then it takes care of all the life functions of our body. Example, our heartbeat. So you ever realize that when our heart is beating, we don't have to tell our heart to beat. It just beats on its own, right? The blood that rushes through our bodies, the blood that rushes through our veins, it does it on its own. We don't have to tell it to circulate through our body at a certain time and things of that nature. It does it on its own. Do we tell our bodies to breathe? No. Our bodies just breathe on their own. So the subconscious deals with all the bodily functions, the organs that play a part in our everyday life, because we don't have to tell our bodily organs and bodily functions to do the necessary things in order for us to sustain our health and to live a happy, prosperous life. It does it on its own. All right. So we have to understand that our organs, our bodily functions, all have a conscious, subconscious, and higher consciousness, all intertwined together. right? So that's why all these three, the conscious, subconscious, and higher consciousness, are all in one. All right, so we have to unify all three into one in order for us to become, uh, you know, stronger, vibrant, spiritual, godly beings that we are. All right, because once we combine all the three in harmony, we become so different. We become so, we change as a person. We change for the better as a person. We skyrocket. We, elevate to higher realms and dimensions and consciousness, and we just become overall better human beings. We are able to dictate our reality. We don't follow the programs in the system that this world tries to put us on, that this world tries to place us on. We become co-creators of our own reality. With the help of God, we become co-creators of our own reality, and nothing in this world can stop us. And then next we have higher consciousness. Now, higher consciousness is left and right harmony. Higher consciousness is left brain and right brain harmony. All right. So higher consciousness is limitless and infinite in nature. All right. So when the body dies, our higher consciousness, our spirit being, it transcends on and on and on till eternity. All right. So the physical brain, it deals with the 3D aspect of ourselves, but our higher consciousness is limitless, infinite, it still lives on. So the higher consciousness is eternally pure. We are eternally pure beings, right? The reason why we have so much hateful people in the world, the reason why we have so much evil people in the world is because we have been downloading all this subconscious programming and influences, and it starts to deter us. It starts to steer us away from our true being, from our true calling. But overall, we are all eternally pure. We are all eternally love. We are the definition of love because we come from God. We come from source. All right, so we always have to remember that we are eternally pure, and higher consciousness is eternally pure. So higher consciousness is the core of our being, the spirit of God within us. So the kingdom of God is within us. God is within us. The spirit spark, higher consciousness is within us. Now, I believe that our spirit is within our consciousness. All right, the spirit is not within our heart. The spirit is within our consciousness. All right, so the kingdom of God is within you. The spark, the spirit spark, the Christ spark is within you. It's up to you to unlock that to become more of a higher consciousness person. Once we start to tap into our divine light that's within us, we start elevating in consciousness. We start elevating and unlocking higher dimensional consciousness. All right. So it is our true eternal reality, and it sets us free by being our helper and leader within us. So once we start tapping into our inner being, in our inner self, our inner light, we start attracting more things. We start attracting more good things in our life, and our higher self is able to help us along our journey. Our higher self is able to help us within our 3D journey. We start attracting more and more and more positive influences and help along the way. All right. So let me give you an example. Let me give you some examples on how all these three tie together. All right. So let's say, for instance, you have, whether it be a male or a female, you have a bully, right? They come to school, always bullying the kids, always mistreating, the kids, the teachers, always causing disruption to class and just being a bad person overall. So we all know that children only imitate their atmosphere. So they might have downloaded, many types of subconscious influences, whether it be from their parents, because that's all they've seen. That's all they've seen from their perception. That's all they've seen from their, from their vision. That's all they've seen in their lives is, the parents mistreating them. Parents may have been alcoholics. They might have, watched certain things on TV or social media, the environment that they're in. So that's all they've seen. So when they come to school, they tend to, be that person that they've seen within their household. So they start mistreating the kids, bullying the kids, beating up the kids, causing disruption, cursing out the teachers and things of that nature because that's all they seen. So they try to mask themselves as this person who thinks that they're superior over other people. You know, they see somebody smaller, they want to, you know, pick on the smaller person to make them feel good, to make them feel cool and things of that nature. But when this person starts to change for the better, once this person starts to become more of a positive person, treating people how they want to be, treating people how he or she wants to be treated and things of that nature, they start to have that harmony. They start to have that left and right harmony. They start to become more loving and peaceful and things of that nature. And they start to unprogram and undownload all the subconscious influences that they have experienced within their household, within their environment, the people they've been around, their friends, their so-called friends. They start to undownload all that subconscious garbage that's within their mind. So they start to become more conscious. They start to, you know, think straight. They start to become more analytical thinkers, as well as being a loving person overall. So it's all a balance. So their conscious, subconscious, and higher consciousness are all in tune and are all in one. And then that's when we start to become clear-minded, clear thinkers. We start to return back to our true calling, our true being. All right, let me give you one more example. So let's say, for instance, you have a person who is an overeater. All right, they tend to overeat, eat certain things that may not be good for them, you know, as a coping mechanism, as something that makes them feel good and things of that nature. If they're going through, you know, certain times in their lives, and they use that as an escape, they use that as escapism. So let's say this is the brain, right? This side right here is our conscious side. This right here, subconscious. So there may be points in our lives where, you know, we start to develop the addiction of overeating or eating certain foods that aren't good for us. So we have downloaded all that subconscious programming and download all that subconscious garbage that's within our mind. So when we feed more into our subconscious mind, when we say to ourselves, oh, I need that extra scoop of ice cream, or I need that extra Snicker bar, things like that, our subconscious mind starts to override our conscious mind. All right? So when we have that balance, when we have that higher consciousness, when we have that left and right brain harmony, we are able to say to ourselves, you know, I shouldn't be eating this ice cream, or I shouldn't be eating this Snicker bar. I shouldn't be drinking this soda. You know, we start to think more analytically. You know, if I eat this, then that will result in me having bad health, or that will result in me having cavities, or that will result in me having high blood sugar and things of that nature. So it's important for us to harmonize. That's the main goal here, is to harmonize and to balance out our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. If there's an imbalance, then there's going to be more, you know, unrational thinking and things of that nature. So when we feed more into our subconscious, it overrides our conscious mind, our conscious thinking. And when we feed more into our conscious thinking, it overrides our subconscious thinking. All right, especially if it's something bad or something negative. So always attain higher consciousness and attain that left and right brain harmony, that left and right brain balance. All right, so there you have it, folks. This is just a very brief video on the conscious, subconscious, and higher consciousness of our being. So hopefully you take something from this video. Hopefully you learn something from this video. And always remember, think of the mind as a night and day cycle. During the day, our consciousness is at work. Our consciousness is at play at all times. And then during the night, the sleeping cycle, our subconscious is in full effect. All right. So we are all influenced subconsciously. We all influence people subconsciously, and people influence us subconsciously. That just shows how connected we are. We are all one. We are all connected. All right. So hopefully you learned something from this video. And yeah, Thank you. Thank you guys for watching. All right. So till next time. And always remember, all power resides from within. And always keep the faith because God and the universe is always working for you. Take care, guys. God bless.